And you can see that we have specifically our main entry point. And then later on, we're going to actually create an instance of our class. That's what it's called, creating an instance of our class. We've seen this syntax. New is going to say we're going to create a new something, a new class, a new object, an instance here of this particular class. And you notice that in quotes we have print main. So this class specifically is going to just print something out. That's what it's going to do. And it's going to take a string that we pass through as a variable or just as text within quotes on a line like you see here, on a statement that you see here. No problem. And then it initializes our class. It's using one of those constructors. It's not using the default constructor, which is what you're normally used to. And you don't really need to specify anything in your default constructor if you don't want to. But this is what we have here. As you can see, there's nothing there. That would be a default constructor. We could use that. But we're using one of those custom constructors. So we'll talk about that. So then we're just going to use that method print string, just like that. And if we type this in, get the dot notation, you'll see that we have print string already there for us, as well as print number. These are our custom methods, our instance methods that we're adding to this, and we can use them as we need to. Additionally, we're going to print a number using the print number method. No parameters need to be passed to this. You could have it that these particular instance methods, they do require passing parameters. We'll see that later. But these two don't, because it's using what's in memory, what's in the class itself, what's stored within those instance variables, those fields. And that allows us to work with the data very nicely. It doesn't even have to be bothered with. And you can see that we also have an initialization. We don't have to do it this way. We can do it a different way. But that is what we have there at the top there. An integer that is getting defaulted to 100. This string is just going to be the empty string. In the string section, we talk a lot about that. You could initialize it to something if you wanted to, but it does get a default value, even though we don't set it to something. So we're going to get into a lot of the other details. You can see there are specifically other things that we could work with as well. This type of constructor, we'll get into more into the constructors, how they work, and we'll extend this class a bit. And also, you can see that we could even return values if we wanted to as well. Now, this is set to public. We'll look at access members as well. We'll look at those. I want to let you know that this is going to be a public method here. This is going to be visible by everybody. You can use this. We'll talk about the scope of what this means. This is an access method. It's not specifically a method, but it's a way to get into our method here. So it can be public or private. Private is not going to be visible to certain parts of your applications or other classes. And normally you would specify private for your instance variables, your fields, and then access them via properties or methods. We'll talk about properties as well.